How are you today?
I'm good. I'm really looking for yeah, I was really good yesterday.
Full speed.
Right, yeah. Probably around like
What?
10.
I have to start myself, but I'll be in at 9:30.
Okay.
Okay. Come into the office at 9:30. So we can call and
Alright,
okay. Yeah, you just. You're not. You good? Do you need anything? On this?
You got down on the bird. Okay, y'all got down on the bird. Boy, I got the weak. Y'all ain't got no basketball game on there? They got a pool. Put a few food. All right. Oh. You know what I mean? Yes.
Ain't you feeling okay, Mr. Gardner? Yeah, I see you. I see you taking big breaths. Well, I get a little pain.
I feel 100% better, but my stomach still hurts. So they told me to wait a few days.
Let's get ready for 5 o'clock session.
And what kind of like stomach pain is it? You know, because I always feel like,
Hey, Mr. Washington.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Some of that, and I have
Keep solid blood.
pain.
So
I'm
Moby,
gonna call my
Sir.
so Moby, never mind, so Moby here.
Oh, I understand.
you know, stomach.
We could just that now, sir.
That's what
I had another guy.
God put pain in us for.
Well,
To show us something's not right.
both.
I'm gonna get back over to see them
I'm not for the
pretty
song.
quickly.
Scotch right.
Okay.
Scotch right.
They put a stand in.
Black apple. For salt.
One stand.
But not.
Yeah, that's
More than that.
Yeah, I know a lot about it.
Okay.
so
Okay.
I think that's enough. You know,
Look,
they put 3 stents in and they lasted for 5 years.
Hey, you only gonna get an hour, man. That's it.
I
That's
feel
it.
100% better.
Yeah,
But stomach still. So not a big
Oh yeah, my dad was having that problem, and he had his heart took out of it in the chest, and they ordered out. He had like a pacemaker, and his stomach was messed up, and he come to find out it was the food that he ate.
yeah.
You know, he had to
One I
change.
was lucky.
He had to change it all.
I don't doubt that. I'm trying to eat better.
Hey,
I'm looking at stuff today.
I'm up there one day talking, I had to breathe on. I ate
They
and I can see it when you're
ginger,
like,
and I think I got a
but one day on my
chocolate,
chest, I got
hard chocolate. Oh, never good for you. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to relax your blood vessels. Do all
okay,
sorts
it's
of
like, okay,
things.
that's what Hey,
But
Mr.
they take all the
I was like, yeah,
all the thing that's on the. I saw it on here on Facebook. The guy's got a ginger root. Just going to town with it. But then when you research it,
but
it's
actually, I'm out.
way too much of it. So you're supposed to put some shaving of it in your salad, something like that. But I'm gonna talk to my doctor.
So when I was in service,
I have an appointment on the 28th, 11th, to get one
when I was stationed,
belly doctor.
so it was so I did
They
it.
have all. Ain't no sense in hanging out there. We'll see it.
Yeah, doing all that, and it's a lot of stress.
Then I changed
It is a bit stressful. But you know, I keep looking at stuff up here and it's it's talking about all these people who died and they in their 50s and 60s. Made it 72. Can't see it. I'll make it.
all the way down to the next
My
one.
wife is freaking out. She doesn't get up with me. She is today. I see her drive with me. And then come pick me up. But she doesn't understand that trap. You don't have a way. I feel like I need to leave. I can't stand it. My car, my ride is an hour away.
It'll be a nice place.
Well, 30.
Somebody believes
Factor in the leaving.
I swear.
So I don't know. I may be retired quick fan. Probably within my decision.
It's probably stressing her out.
It is. She has a lot of issues. And I've done this. I've done 16.
Yeah,
I've done.
you never retired once, huh?
I've retired a couple of times. I retired from schools, and I went back to work in the world, and then I retired again. That, and these guys got
It was like shrine.
come out part-time.
I'm not shrine.
Yeah, I mean, you could always
Well, I did work for them for a year part-time. And then they told me in the full time.
Yeah, because it probably gets boring around the house. Sitting around the home all day. Boring.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
My whole life.
Oh yeah, once you ever get still, then you can go down.
That's what they say, statistics.
Got 3 more minutes, yo. 3 more minutes.
Once in a couple of years. Yeah.
This G, though. Oh, you got Jesse. 2, you got 2. So you got 2. You have, Nate. Dan. Oh, you going in next? Okay, yeah. And, who's this? Oh, Mr. Rich. He had to go to, Smoke Top.
Oh.
Mr. Rich.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, we got a couple of minutes before we get started this morning. So if you want a cup of coffee, take a leak, something like that, get that done. And do whatever Miss Casey's making us do. And know. But we'll get started here in 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. We don't want to cheat ourselves out of 2 minutes.
I don't want to grow up. I'm
I'll wait. I'll wait. That's
I miss that place. First, I always see like $300. Good juice. Right.
Hey, Mr. Gardner. I would like to give you a pre-warning. I would like to give you a pre-warning. Yesterday, this morning, I've been paralyzed. So, you need calls and get a room.
Sure, absolutely. We don't want to get on ourselves.
Just give me one.
But Miralax is a really gentle, laxative type of thing that is going to work for the body. And it shouldn't give you an emergency type situation.
Okay.
But if it does,
Right. I've been drinking
bodies are different.
still on my second coke, but I just been having.
Take Miralax every morning.
I thought it said 7 days.
You take it forever and ever.
No, they have this stuff that's like magnesium. That's for like Niagara Falls.
Yeah. All right. Good morning. How is everybody? Couple of real quick things this morning for housekeeping. Glad to be back. Thank you for all of you who have asked about my health this morning. I appreciate it. I do feel about 100% better or more, and so I appreciate that. And my stomach is still giving me some issues, so I'm not at 100%. So I don't know. I'm going to be in and out. So y'all don't, I'm going to see if I can get an appointment to see my belly doctor sometimes this week. I wanted to share this with you. I was feeling, and y'all know, I was feeling bad for a couple months. And I kept telling my doctor and all of those guys I had this issue. And they kept telling me I didn't have the issue. And so, okay, here's the deal. You know your body better than anybody else, So you see all the bruising and all of that stuff? That's where they stuck that thing down through there to check. And my heart doctor told me, all of this is because of the stents that you already have. I have 3 stents, and they said all of these stents are kind of showing up to look like blockages. So, okay, I can see that. And then they said, well, you sure you want to? I said, yeah, I want to go in. So on the day before, they called me and said, are you feeling better? Are you sure you want? Okay, yes, I want to do it. So they went and did it, and they found out instead of 40%, which they thought it was 80%. So, I had to just about another, couple of little spots of plaque, and I'm going to have a heart attack or a stroke and die. So here's the deal. If you feel a certain way, you are in charge of your health. So you need to tell that guy in the white coat, I feel a certain way. So you need to fix that. And even if they go in there and they check, man, I guess it was 30 years ago, they went in through my groin and they checked all of that. They said, all right, everything's great. Okay, all right. I was feeling a certain way. Everything's great. The next time they went in, 5 years ago, it was 87 to 95% blocked. Okay, God just told me to go have one of those screenings. You can go to the Baptist hospital and they have a screening that costs $100. They'll tell you how much calcium is in your bloodstream. And that says if you have over a 500, they tell you to go see your doctor. Mine was 980 or something like that. And so, boom, I went and had that done. And now this deal, I'm feeling a certain way, so I went and it's at 80. So, if your doctor, look, you need to listen to your doctor, but there are times when you need to say, no, you need to listen to me. Yeah, I feel a certain way, so let's check this out. So, don't let them talk you out of doing what you know you need to do, right? So, and this is why my stomach is still hurting. Don't know why it's still hurting, so I'm going to go and get that checked out as well. But I am feeling a whole lot better. Today it's Martin Luther King Day, and I don't know if some of you have not heard me talk about Brother King, but he's one of my heroes. I'll really not be here today. I'll be at the house. Him and Elvis and who else? Elvis is one of my heroes. Who else? I can't. Jesus is my hero. It wasn't for the Lord Jesus Christ, I'd be dead and going to hell, or already there. So he's my major hero. But Elvis is one of my heroes, and Martin Luther King is one of my heroes. I ought to be at the house is reading his. If you haven't read his speeches, you ought to read some of those things. Shows you what kind of man he was, and so it's just a great thing. Say it again. I can quote them all for you, but I'm not going to because I want to show you how good my memory works. Wait a minute. Man, over there, can you quote his? I can't. I can't even quote most of what my greatest hero, the Lord Jesus Christ, I can't quote what he said. I can quote this for you. I love you no matter what.
That's right.
That's the big one. So today, we're going to have a brief kind of meeting. We're going to be here about an hour today. We're going to go over our stuff. If you don't have a book, you need to be about getting a book. Let your counselor know that you need a book, and we will get you one. We do have copies of that. A couple of things real quickly. Make sure that you got your name on the sign-in sheet because you're going to get
Extra credit.
you're going to get credit. This is a holiday. You're going to be here. We're going to be here in an hour, 30 minutes, whatever we wind up doing. But you're going to get credit for the full 2-hour class and all of that kind of stuff. But let me ask you a couple of questions real quick. And ladies, thank you for being over there and on time and all of that stuff. And pretty soon we're going to be doing a Zoom type of thing where you can talk back and forth to the facilitator. And that's going to be a really good thing because if you have a question, comment, or snide remark, you'll be able to do that, and that'll be good. Say it again.
We'll be able to hear that?
Yeah, you'll be able to hear the whole 9 yards. Yeah, it'll be good. So that I think is going to be different. So I'm going to ask a question, and then you ladies just listen to it and decide for yourself over there. Why are you here?
Finally, because I realized that I was.
Okay. Why are you here, sir?
Well, I can't use them all.
Can't do it on your own. Why are you here?
I need help.
Need to get some help.
Radical responsibility.
Radical responsibility. Okay, why are you here, Mr. White? I'm here to get what I need to get. Why are you here? To get help.
My life became unmanageable, and I was powerless over my addiction. Came here for tools, help me.
Okay. Y'all got to know he's going to have a lot to say about it. Whatever it is. It don't matter. Why are you here?
Time to live.
Say it again.
Time to live.
Okay.
To get some help and pointed in the right direction for sobriety.
Like that. Get some help. Get pointed in the right direction. Yes, sir. You. Why are you here?
I'm here.
Get pointed in the right direction. Why are you here, sir?
To get help.
Need some help? Okay. Why are you here, sir?
I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Okay. Give it a little bit of thought, and we'll come right back to you. Why are you here, sir? Waiting on the coffee? Why are you here?
I need some help.
You need some help? You feeling better? Why are you here?
I'm here because I called CPS on myself.
You're here because you called CPS on yourself. Yeah, you need some help.
Somebody says?
Look, I just want to share this with you. I want to share it with the ladies as well at the same time. We're all here for different reasons, but we're all here for the same reason. Right?
Yes, sir.
I need some help. I came into one of these because I couldn't do this on my own. I need some help. Right? So, and here's the deal. I had 3 or 4 people say to get pointed in the right direction. Let me tell you what I am and what my staff is. We are your pointers. We're going to point you in the right direction. We're going to help you. We're going to show you some things that I think that you need to help you get in the right direction. One of the things that means that all of the silly little boy and little girl stuff needs to stop right now today. Don't want to have any more of that. You feel like you want to get in a fight with somebody, you need to come see me. I'm serious about that. I don't need somebody scrapping and all of that kind of stuff. That's what we're here for. None of us said, I'm here to get in a fight with my neighbor. I'm here to get in a fight with... If that's what you're here for, come see me, because I know where you need to go, and it's not here. So that's the end of all of that. If you can't live peaceably amongst the rest of us, this ain't where you need to be. So y'all come see me. Just all you have to do is just come to my office and tell me. I just can't live peaceably with the rest of these people. And I'll help you. Okay? And we need to get at the place where, everybody has a right to be where they need to be, right? Right? I'm going to tell you this right now. Right? I think everybody here needs to have the Lord Jesus Christ in their life. But here, we're about getting into recovery. Right? Right? So if you want to know anything about the Lord Jesus Christ in my life, you come see me. Right? But I'm not going to come to you in your bedroom and wake you up and do nasty stuff. So all the nasty stuff is ended. Everybody in agreement with that?
Agreed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I want to feel comfortable here. I want you to feel comfortable here. And if somebody's making us uncomfortable, we're going to have a little word with them. We're going to stop all that.
Facts.
Just immediately. Just stop. Just cut it out. Man to man, we ain't doing it. Man to lady, we ain't doing it. So if anybody thinks we're gonna do it, they need to come see me. I got a word for you. Okay? So this morning we're on spirituality.
Hey.
Man. Let me tell you a little bitty something about spirituality. Spirituality is not religion.
Facts.
I just want y'all to know that, get a hold of that. Spirituality is not religion. You can find spirituality just about anywhere you want to find spirituality. You can find it in religion, but a lot of the time religion will damp down spirituality. You remember 26 years ago, those guys that, or 25 years ago, those guys that ran into the Twin Towers down there in New York? Why did they do that?
That was right after
Religion, a group of rules. So they killed all of those people because of religion. So we don't need to look. There's nothing wrong with religion as long as we set those rules the way we need to set those rules and follow them with spirituality in mind. Right? We need to get there. We need to be spiritual because here's the deal. We are spiritual people. We're all spiritual people. We need to get to the place where we can differentiate between the two. Right? Between religion and spirituality. Now, there is spirituality in a whole bunch of churches around here. That's not the only place. There's also spirituality under those trees out there. under these trees over here and anywhere else. The Bible says God is a spirit, and you have to worship Him in spirit, truth. So He's a spirit. So the very first thing we're going to look at is spiritual health this morning. And remember, these are, yes, sir? What page? You've been here 9 years. You've been here 9 years. It's 21. Page 21. Everybody knows. Everybody got a book? Who is it doesn't have a book? You know how much good your book does you laying on the desk?
Not a whole time.
Not a whole lot, no. So either get up on the desk where your book is or get your book down there where you are. One or the other, I don't care. Come on. You don't have a book?
Yeah.
Where's your book? Go get it. Get your book. And we know we bring our books to class every time we come, at least to this class, this education class. Every time we come to this class, bring a book. If you don't have a book, get a book. So, and we know that each one of these is a stage that we go through, right? These are not, I had somebody ask me one time, how on earth can you do all of that in a week? It's not a week. These are not days. This is stages that we go through. They could take 10 years to get through one of those stages, but we need to be working in one of those stages and recognize that we are indeed in one of those stages. Yes?
Right. I was just out of curiosity about spiritual health, the whole what we're talking about today. With spiritual malady, from my understanding, understanding what spiritual malady is, to actually develop more spiritual health, would that help? It took me a while to understand.
Well, malady means an illness. Yeah. Malady means that I am in a bad place with that. And if I have a spiritual malady, that means that I'm just not in a good place spiritually. Being in a good place spiritually does not mean you're the most spiritual person in the building. Okay, sometimes the most spiritual person in the building is quiet. Sometimes the most spiritual person in the building is noisy. But, having a spiritual malady does not mean that you don't have any spirituality at all. I'm going to tell you what, in each and every one of us is the spark of God. Amen. If you'll go back and look at when, at conception, when the seed is fertilized in the womb, there's a spark of light that happens. It's the most amazing thing. I've looked at it, and it just, boom, there's a little spark of light. It's kind of like a little circle that goes off in that thing. So cool. And it's amazing. That's the spark of life. That's that part of the divinity that's coming in there. And it's just an amazing thing. So, what do you got with me?
It's almost like when the neurons are firing in your brain. That little spark of electricity.
Yeah, it's just a little spark. I don't believe it's a spark of electricity. I think it's a spark of spirituality. I think it's the light of God. The Bible says that God is light, and in Him is no shadow of turning. So I do believe that. So these things going forward down through here, you should be at some place in here, and if you're not any place there, you need to begin something. Here's the deal. If you do not want to follow the same path that I'm following, that's perfectly all right. Yeah, that's fine. I am required by the God that has saved me to tell you that He's there to save you too. But if you don't want that, He's given us this thing called free choice. And so that's the worst thing He's ever given us. Sometimes I wish I was like a worm. Y'all ever seen you pull one of those worms out of the ground, a night crawler that you go fishing with? What does that night crawler do? Yeah, he'll wiggle around. He'll do all those things. The night crawler eats dirt. The night crawler does what night crawlers do. And he don't have a whole lot of choice in it. He don't have free choice. He don't have free will. He's a night crawler. He's a worm. Some of us act like worms and all of that kind of stuff, but we're not. We're human beings, right? And so we have that spark of divinity in us. So that spirituality is in us. Now, here's the deal. You got a big old porch. On my house, I have a porch that's 63 feet long. On this side, if I tie up one dog, and on that side, I tie up the other dog, I go out every morning and I feed that dog, but I don't feed that dog what's going to happen? One dog's going to starve to death. The other dog's going to flourish, right?
Yeah.
So here's the deal. If I want the spirituality in my life to enhance, to grow, to do something good, I have to feed it. So whatever side of my personality, whatever side of my being that I feed, that's the side that's going to grow. If I decide I'm going to get on somebody, if I decide I'm going to jump on somebody, if I decide I'm going to do all of those nasty and ugly things, if I decide I'm going to steal somebody's stuff, and let me share a little bitty, tiny bitty thing. I got a lot of stuff in my office. Some of it is worthless. I got some little things of honey in my office. They're about like that. I only got one in there. About like that, just a little bit. It's supposed to go in your tea, but I brought the wrong tea. It ain't worth hardly anything.
That's right.
Don't steal my honey. Do not. Don't steal from me. You go, look, people are in my office all the time. Don't touch my stuff. No, don't do that. Don't. If you a thief, you a thief. That's up to you, but don't be a thief here. Because here we're doing other stuff, and that takes my focus, takes the staff's focus, takes the RA's focus, takes the other client's focus off of their getting well, getting healed, getting ready to go back in society so they can watch your happy butt so that you don't steal our stuff. We ain't doing it. So if we find out you're doing that, I'm going to help you a little bit. We help you. Help you up, help you out, whatever it needs. So here's the first thing. Usually, sometimes, look, when we're off into our recovery, off into our addiction, and we're out there in the midst of everything out there in the roads and in the streets and all of that kind of stuff, we're just worried mostly about surviving from day to day. Some of us are in a nice home with a nice car and a nice wife and nice children and still worrying about surviving from day to day. So at that point in time, our spirituality usually goes out the window. We're not too worried about God. We're not too worried about a higher power, because at that point, my higher power was vodka. I went to the church every day, just about every day. I'd go to my church, which was the liquor store down here, and that was my church, and I would go in there and I'd walk up and down the aisles of my church, and the pastor of that church was sitting behind the counter there, and he would lead me as I needed leading, as pastors are apt to do, and he would say, yes, we have some stuff on sale over here, or yes, there's a new type of vodka made out of rotted orange thing, or yes, you can do this and do that, and I'm walking down through there just worshiping, my God, trying to figure out how I can get one of those little bottles of my God in my pocket without that guy seeing it. I had $4, and the pint of God that I needed cost about $3.50, and I also needed to have a little biscuit. There was a store there that sold a biscuit on a stick, and it was a stick with a sausage on it and a biscuit on top of it. And so in my muddled up mind, I thought, hey, you know what? If I had this sausage and I have this biscuit, then if the police stop me for some odd reason, they won't be able to smell the vodka on my breath.
That's not true.
It ain't true, no. Yeah, when the police stop you and say, hey, you just ran through that person's yard over their rose bush and, out in the middle of the road and everything, and you run up against that tree there, it don't make any difference if you got a sausage in your hand or not. And, they're going to say, get out. And I see those things on Facebook where they're all over the world, and they say, please get out. They ain't never been to Houston. They say, get out. By the time they say, get out, I'm on the ground. What happened? What size boot is this? So here's the first thing. While we're out there, we got our focus on something else. We got our focus on completely away from everything else. And there came a time when I'm sitting on the side of a compressor, and I know that, I have just gotten, almost killed, all of this kind of stuff. We were trying to push a 2,500-pound weight over this pipe, and it was hanging from a chain hoist. And my guy couldn't do it.
So I said, let me show you how. So I get up there and I push. I got that thing bouncing. You know how chain horses do. That old thing like, and I got it. And I finally pushed it over and that thing went over. And as soon as it went over, the chain broke. And it fell on top of that compressor. And I'm going, okay. And I knew in my knower right at that point in time, if that chain had broken over here, I'd be underneath that thing. I'd be dead. I'd be croaked. And, the Holy Spirit said to me, and in hell. I said, well, then I might need to go somewhere else. I might need to do something different. And God is good because God had set me up. We bought a little house, and it was right across the street from church. And we used to be real quiet on Sunday morning because them people would show up over there. But we lived there probably 2 years, right? We lived there 2 years. And we were real quiet, so we don't want to disturb those people. And you know what? They never disturbed us either. Right. Not one person from that church came over and said, won't y'all come to church before you go to hell? Right. Ain't none of them done. Yeah. So I have made my life a little bit different. I'm going to tell you, you need to go. So the first thing, a lot of the time when we're coming out of that and we're trying to get ourselves to a place where we are getting a little bit more spiritual in nature, because here's the thing. And I had somebody tell me this not in our little deal here, that, look, I can't do this by myself. I need an AA group. I need an NA group. I need to Celebrate Recovery. And I need really badly one of you guys to get all sobered up and everything and come to our church and start a new Celebrate Recovery out there for us, because that's what we're about to do. But we need some leadership. So here's the deal. Somebody needs to come on and do that, right? From either place. Somebody just needs to come out there and say, hey, we'll do that. We won't pay nothing, but we'll be good to you. Right. So and then I said, look, I need, and it came to my understanding after a while that even if sometimes I call that sponsor and he ain't home. Y'all ever called a sponsor and couldn't get him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You ever went to the AA group and it wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yes, I showed up at our AA group and the door locked. Go, what? Yeah, it's supposed to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's when I need it, but they weren't there. And then I went home and sat down and said, well, what am I going to do? And somebody shook my shoulder a little bit. My higher power is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on the holidays. Right? God's open today. Yeah, God's open today. Even though it's Martin Luther King Day, and I'm going to honor Martin Luther King today. I'm probably going to do something real religious and go ride down Martin Luther King Highway, just ride down the boulevard, just because, And I'm going to tell somebody about, Brother Martin Luther King. And here's the thing about Martin Luther King. And he said this about himself. He's my brother. Spiritually, he's my brother. He's not my father. He's not my father. I don't pray to Brother King. No. I pray to Father King.
Right.
Just so you know. So, just coming out of that, and we may not get to our stuff, but just coming out of that, just coming out of the vodka, just coming out of that fog, just coming out of that, I didn't have much spirituality in my life. And then I found that I did need to have some spirituality in my life. But when it's very, very early, sometimes we're just unfamiliar. My dad took me and the whole family to church one time when I was about 12, 13 years old. I was already breaking the law. I was already doing some crazy stuff. My dad was a professional man. He was a professional crook, but he wasn't a real good one, because he was in the jail more than he was at the house. He did goofy, stupid stuff because of alcohol. But one morning he got up and he said, well, we're going to go to church. And so we lived right here. You walked here and you walked there and there's the church. And so we all got up and we walked around. We went in. We sat down. We were the only 4 people there. My mom, my dad, and my brother and myself. And there's a young man, 2 young men up on the podium up there. And after a while, one of them came down and said, hey, you know what? I'm the pastor here, and he's the song leader, and we don't know, usually we have 50 people here by now. We don't know what happened. And my dad said, well, he just don't want me in his house, and so we up and we left. I have no doubt that 50 people showed up right after we left. So I didn't know. It was unfamiliar to me. I didn't know anything about what God was supposed to be.
in my life. And so here it says, look, either unfamiliar or unwilling. What I find today is there are a lot of unfamiliar people with spirituality, not familiar with spiritual things, but there's also a whole ton of people who are unwilling. They're unwilling. They don't want to have anything to do with that. They're afraid of that. They don't want to have anything to do. Even in the church, there are people who don't want to have anything to do with spirituality. So it says you are not familiar with a spiritual life. Or you've been unwilling to accept the existence of spiritual matters. I'm going to tell you one of the greatest things I think that we need to, as people who have these addictive issues in our lives and all of that stuff, is come to the place where we at the very least believe there's something bigger, more than me. Yeah. There's something bigger than I am. There's something more important than me. And you know, where I was in my life to understand that there was something more important than I was, or that I am, was not a big stretch for me. I knew there's a lot more important to me than me. Yeah, you know, and I look at stuff, and if you look at the cosmos, you look at the earth, you look at our moon, you look at our sun, you look at things like that. Did you know that if the sun, or if the moon rather, was moved 1 foot in either direction, then the earth couldn't exist?
It would freeze.
It just couldn't exist. It'd fall apart. Yeah, it couldn't exist. So, you know, if the earth was just a little bit farther away from the sun than it is, we couldn't live here. Or a little bit closer to the sun than it is, we couldn't live here. That's an amazing thing to me. And you are an amazing thing to me. You are one of the reasons I believe that God exists. You. Because when I look at you and I know that your fingerprints, there's never been one like that. And there's your eyes, there's never been one like your eye in particular. And there's never been a heartbeat exactly with the same rhythm as yours. Oh my God, that shows me that, you know, somebody created you. Somebody made you. You are unique and special.
Yeah, right.
So how do you catch a unique rabbit?
A few far in between.
You bait it.
You bait it? He said they're far in between.
I said, I'll keep far in between.
What is it?
With a unique trap.
With a unique trap? It's a unique rabbit, so you unique up on it. You get unique up on it.
I love Jacob. You got this answer. You told me last time about rabbits.
He got clues.
What's the rabbit?
Oh no, that's right.
All right, I'm going to go over this. Look, I swear. I know we got off into that, but it is spiritual week, and so that's okay. But I want to share a couple of things with you about coping with holiday stress. Now, look, a lot of the times folks don't look at holidays like this one, 4th of July, stuff like that. You know, we've got one coming up in February. What is it?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. All of those kinds of things. And we don't look at those causing us as much stress as Thanksgiving and Christmas, but or the first. But can they?
Easter's in March, right?
Yeah, they can cause us a lot of stress, because here's one of the biggest things about holiday stress is that a lot of holiday stress is caused by us not being with the ones that we want to be with.
Right.
Right? This is a necessary thing for us. This is something we have to have. This is something we need to do. It's just like when I was in the hospital 5 years ago, getting the first 3 stents. I now have 4. I don't know if I finished the story. They put another stent in to open the other stents back up, so now I have 4 stents. But while I was in there was a guy that they came in, they did the same thing too, and they took a look in there, and they just took him out of there and took him on over to the hospital because he was in such bad shape. They had to do like, heart thing, open him up and do a bypass and all of that kind of crazy mess. But even in a place like that, if I'm in the hospital, if I'm in treatment, if I'm in jail, what do you think is the biggest time for suicides in the prison system?
Holidays.
During the holidays.
So
Christmas and Thanksgiving, that period of time between Christmas and New Year's, we've got everybody's just watching.
Mr. Washington can tell you about that because we were all on duty. We were all there. We were all watching because these guys were ready to, at that point in time, I'm not at home. They just become despondent and all of that kinds of stuff. So every holiday out there is a good excuse for bad behavior. Right. And so we look at that and we have so many people relapsing on those holidays. Nobody loves me. Mm-hmm. Everybody hates me. I did not get a Valentine's card.
Or like after
yeah.
So that's true. Because after 45, you're aggravated charge or something.
Sure.
That's suicide for true.
Yeah, and I've seen guys with when we were in the prison system, we've seen guys get a set off. You know what that means? They're not going to be able to get out. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, been set off for a couple of years, set off for a year. That means they can't get out on the date that they were expecting to get out. Yeah. And when those guys went back to their pod, when they went back to their spot, we would be somewhere around. Right. We wouldn't go up there and sit. Sometimes the counselor would, but usually people like Mr. Washington and folks we just be around. We're there, and making sure because it does cost us some stuff. So here's some things that we can do, and some of these sound a little trite, but they are really, really true. We want to look at and identify some of the main sources of all of this holiday stress, and learn how to make some healthier choices. One of them is, let go of unrealistic expectations. We all suffer from unrealistic expectations. I do. I suffer from that. I'm sitting at the hospital, and I've got a minister from our church and my wife are up there with me, and there's a couple of people who called and checked on me. But I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, none of my kids have called. I got 2 sons and a daughter, and none of them have called. None of them have checked on me. None of them. I'm thinking, okay. Yeah. I'm starting to feel a little big about that. So while I'm sitting there waiting and thinking, and got my phone over there beside me, waiting on my kids to call and say, hey, how are you, Father? I love you so much. We just want to should I come up there? Should I do something? All of this kind of stuff. And nobody ever did. And I'm sitting there and I finally tell my wife, I thought maybe one of my kids would call. She said, oh, I didn't tell them.
Right. They don't know.
I said, what? She said, I didn't want to worry them.
Yeah.
I said, okay. All right. So, sometimes we have these unrealistic expectations. If people don't let people know, people cannot get a hold of you and check on you and all of that kind of stuff. So, sometimes we need to we need to let go of unrealistic expectations. You know what? What is the past? What is it? It's the past. I'm going to tell you something. Y'all remember some of those Christmases and holidays back in the past that you had when you were a kid? Remember when you got your first bicycle? Remember when you got this? And you remember when you opening up all those gifts and it was just, look, you can't recreate the past. The past is the past, so you got to let it go. Right?
I'm going to get a paddle ball, ping pong with a paddle ball. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I used to get big old packages and I open them up and they'd be underwear. I will tell you something. The cruelest thing that you can do as a parent is to give your children underwear for Christmas. Don't be doing that. We used to get them from churches and stuff like that because we were poorer than dirt and we needed the underwear and never have disputed the fact that I needed socks and underwear, but I did not want them. Yeah. I would rather go without underwear and get a truck, or a little train or an airplane or something, or like you, a paddle ball. Man, give me one of them paddle balls. I can imagine taking that thing and whopping my brother upside the head with it. That would have been fun. But you can't do that. And here's the thing too. Let me share this with you. We're all looking for it. We're all trying for it every year, but you cannot have perfect. Here's the deal. It's just like perfect churches. I've had people tell me, well, this church needs this and this church. If you don't think your church is perfect and you're going to go looking for another perfect church and you find the perfect church over there and you go join that church, all of a sudden you've ruined it.
It ain't perfect anymore, because you're there. Because churches are full of people,
Right.
and people aren't perfect. And holidays are full of people, and people aren't perfect. And somebody's going to do something. Somebody's going to get drunk and hug the Christmas tree, right? Or something. You're going to get some kind of crazy mess that you don't want. This Christmas, my wife she went and she found these big old roasting pans. And she bought 3 of them because there's 3 ladies. I have my daughter-in-law and my other daughter-in-law. Anyway, there's 3 ladies in there. There's my daughter-in-law, my daughter, and then a granddaughter-in-law that she buys for. So we've got these 3, and she wrapped them up. She did all that good, and everybody says, "Oh, I love that. That's so wonderful. Now I can cook." My daughter-in-law unwrapped hers and pulled it out. She said, "I already have one of those." What? I already got one of those. Y'all might as well take that there back. You still got the price thing? You gonna take? Okay. Yeah. All right. She should have fawned over it. She should have said how my wife spent days looking for that. Instead, I got one of these. So now you got 2, you ungrateful little. People are involved in our holidays, so holidays can't be perfect. So don't worry about that. We're just going to do that. So here's the deal. One of the things that we need to do about all these holidays and things is express our feelings honestly. Express that. My wife is telling me, well, she did the right thing, No, she didn't. I told her, no, you didn't. You should have kept your mouth. Maybe next year when I re-gift this thing to you again, you'll just take it home, shut up, right? I'm just going to save it till next year, and you're going to get it again. So until you take it home and re-gift it to some of your friends, that's all you're ever going to get. So if you want something different, you need to be grateful. Take that thing home. Sell it in a garage sale. Do those kinds of things. So here's one of the things too that can really mess up, and we know this can mess up everything. It's just isolating. I know a lot of people that over the holidays, they're going to go somewhere and sit down and they're just going to be by themselves. Right. And that's just not a good thing. We have some people in our family that try to do that. My son was one. I have my youngest son. He's kind of a special individual, and he wanted to sell. He never bought anybody any gifts. So one year, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know what it was, I just set him down and told him, you need to do something. I don't know what to buy anybody. Buy him anything. It doesn't matter. Just get them something. Yeah. Get them something. So my next birthday, he bought me 3, get this, 3 1-liter Cokes. Put them in a bag. There you go. There you go. There you go, man. And that would have been all right, except I don't drink Cokes. So I got these 3 1-liter Cokes that I don't use, but but it was something. It broke that spell over him. And nowadays, this last Christmas, he had something for everybody in the family, and it was well thought out. He bought me about 5 different things that I really needed. And it was just fantastic, So isolation is not the key. When you sit down in a holiday all by yourself, what do you do?
Reminisce.
Sometimes you reminisce. A lot of the times you just turn inward, and you get sadder and sadder, more rejected, all that kind of stuff. And it's not good. It's not good because here we talk about this all the time, but people need people. You may not think you need people, but that's just a lie. You need people. Everybody in here needs people. And here's the deal. You are going to be involved with people.
Everybody needs
somebody. The rest of your life. Everybody needs somebody. The rest of your life, you're going to be involved with those people. So we need to get to the place where we are learning how to be involved with people. How can you do that? Go to your AA meetings. Go to an NA meeting. Go to Celebrate Recovery. My God, go to church. Right. Do something where there are other people. And before you know it, you'll figure out that, hey, not everybody is nasty and ugly and snotty. Are there nasty, ugly, and snotty people out there in the world?
Yeah.
Yes. Some of us in this room are some of those.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to point you out, but yeah. Well, everybody can be that way. But there's also some good, kind, nice, and sweet people out there.
Yeah.
We need to get some of those people in our life.
Right.
And we also need to be able to recognize that, hey, I love that person. Every time I get around that person, man, that lady, that guy, they just stir up my pheromone. I just get excited every time I'm not around that person. Then things happen that I just don't like. I just need to be around that person all the time. You know anybody like that?
Yeah.
I have people in my life like that. But I learned about, I guess, 62, 63 years ago that even those people, they can be buttheads. Even those people that I really want in my life, that I really love, that I really have to have, they can also be nasty, ugly, and unkind. They can be. So I have to give them leave to do that from time to time, because guess what? I can do that too.
Right.
I can do that as well. My wife got up this morning with me. She usually doesn't. But she got up this morning because my first day back at work since my little deal, and she was feeling bad, and she hugged on me, and she was crying, and she prayed for me, and she did all of that kind of stuff. And I had the lights on because my porch lights on because I had gone out and started my car to let it warm up a little bit. And so I cut the lights off. And I got to my car and I turned around, the lights were back on. So I walked back to the house and opened the door and cut the light back off. And I said, "Did you know that light popped back on?" I thought, "Hey, something strange." She said, "I turned the light on." So, okay. She said, "I just want to make sure you get to your car." Every day of my life, I get up, I walk out there to the car, I look at the stars and praise God for the stars, and then I walk over to my car again. Every day of my life I've done that. And she ain't up to turn it. But this morning, she turned that light back on. So, okay, let's leave it. Let's leave that light there. So, she's being nice, kind, good, and sweet, but I guarantee you that the look she gave me when I turned that light off was not a good, kind, sweet, nice look. No. So the people out there that you have that real deep desire and need for, they going to be nasty or ugly, and they going to smell bad sometimes.
Right.
We got to give them that, because we're going to do the same thing. So here's the deal. It's the holiday season. This is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This is his day. And this is a great man that we're celebrating this day. But we don't need to expect any issues with other people to go away just because it's Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
Just because it's a holiday, that don't mean that everybody in here is going to be nice, kind, good, and sweet, right? It don't mean that. Mm-hmm. You are going to be tolerable, but if you're not tolerable, you're going to be tolerable. Mm-hmm. If you're not tolerable, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then somebody's going to tell you what you're going to do, right? But here, look, just because it's a holiday doesn't mean everybody's going to be nice, kind, good, and sweet. Mm-hmm. Now they ought to be. There's a song that we sing, "Why can't every day be just like Christmas?" It's the most wonderful day of the year. Yeah. Everybody's singing, everybody's happy, everybody's saying, Merry Christmas. Everybody's doing all that kind of stuff. Nobody's sleeping in group on Christmas. Yeah. But on Martin Luther King Day, they're asleep. And look, sleeping in group is catching. Did y'all know that? Look, here's one, and the guy right next to him just passed right out. Ain't it far? It's catching. It's catching. I ain't asleep. I just got my head down, and I'm slobbering and snoring because of that. But I heard every word you said. I heard every word that he said. I heard every word Mr. Sims said. Anyway, so don't expect any issues with other people to disappear overnight. This morning, I said, we're not here to have issues with one another. We are not. Just because I said that, is that going to make those issues go away?
No.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But we're going to have to learn how to deal with those issues. Yeah. And if you cannot deal with those issues, you need to get a little tiny little bit of help dealing with those issues. And I'm in the helping profession. That's what we do. So we'll do that.
I
I didn't hear you.
I believe the first big step in
Yeah.
any situation is addressing the issue
Oh yeah, address the issue. That's right.
properly.
Yeah, properly means that I'm involved.
That's
If
right.
we have an issue that we can't deal with, because here, look, we got 18 people in our group right now over here. I don't know how many's over at North, and so how many people are we concerned with getting the best treatment they can get? 18 people here, and however many is at North. So if there's one person that's keeping people from getting the best that they can get, we're gonna have to fix that. We fix it. We're gonna fix it, whatever it takes. So here's the deal. One more thing. If you're struggling with loneliness or facing the loss of a loved one with whom you have shared the holidays before, people have died on us last year.
Right.
Maybe nobody in here, but I've had people die. I was at a memorial on Saturday. And just, of course, it's not like you had an opportunity. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. We don't want you to have issues in the bathroom or in here that it should be done in the bathroom. Yes, sir.
For the last 3 years, after my mom passed, I was alone. But
Yeah.
This year I was with my family.
Yeah, and here's the deal. We need to take a look at that. He was alone for 3 years since his mom passed away. But here's the deal. That usually, maybe not, but that usually is our choice. I don't have to be alone. I can go walk in the mall.
Yeah.
People in the mall. I can go to an AA group. People out there. I go to church just about. Some of these bigger our church doesn't, but these big churches, some of them have.
Christmas.
Yeah, they have Christmas there at the church and stuff like that. So we can do that. So here's the deal. Go if you have that issue. And it's like I said, I was at a memorial. The son did a lot talking about the memorial. This guy was a fantastic individual. He was in the Marine Corps for 20 years. Had been wounded 7 times. He was a E7 when he got out of there. Just an amazing individual. And so his son was torn up. What did you say?
I said
okay. So here's the deal. If we're at that place, we can go to a place where you can find support and encouragement. Go to a meeting. Go somewhere. Do something. Spend time with people who care about you.
Yeah.
Just find, there's somebody in your family that cares about you. I have children. I tell you, I don't know. My wife dies before me. Then, they're just going to have to put up with me for the holidays.
Yeah.
I'm coming, I'm your dad. Feed me. I'm your dad. Feed me, love on me, give me a gift. Wasn't for me, you wouldn't be walking around being a smart aleck. So you do what you're supposed to do. So,
don't put me in no cold.
Spend time with people who care about it. Volunteer. Here's a big deal. If I don't have any place to go, volunteer your own time or your family's time to help others. Go to the soup kitchen, feed people. The big Catholic church down here in town. There's another one. I think it's Presbyterian church down here in town has a soup kitchen. Yeah, some other place has that. Done a little bit of work in the past with some other place. There was they started that 70, 80 years ago when they got tired of people telling people they had to go to some other place. And so they came up with some other place, and it works pretty good. And look, here, sometimes we just need to accept the fact that we're going to miss those people.
Right.
This guy was a member of my Sunday school class. He was a friend of mine. All of this kinds of stuff. We're going to miss this guy.
Right.
And I've had 2 of them die. Just here in the last couple of years, I've had 3 of them die. And one of them was only 50 years old. And so, we're going to miss those people. But even that, we need to accept the fact that we're lonely. We accept the feelings of sadness. These feelings may not go away just because the holiday cheer comes around. Sometimes on the holiday when I'm thinking about my grandma or I'm thinking about this person or that person who has gone away, I'm going to have a little bit of a feeling of sadness. My grandmother was a lady, lived in Alabama, and she was a pink freak. She had the only pink house on the block.
Yeah.
They lived on a mountainside. She had a pink house. She had a pink car. A pink Plymouth. You go in her house, she had a pink rotary telephone. Never seen a pink rotary. I didn't know that they had them, but Grandma had a pink rotary telephone. So just a pink lady. When I think about her, then it brings a little bit of sadness back. So we need to be prepared for extra intensity. That's feeling like that. And if there's some things there that's going to cause me a whole lot of sadness, a whole lot of misery, can I not do it? Some of it I can. Some of it I can. I've had a person invite me over to their house, and I knew that if I went to that house on the holiday, there's going to be nothing but, aggravation, intense agitation, intense crazy mess, because the husband likes to get a little nippy-fied on Christmas, and when he doesn't do it any other time, but when he gets a little nippy-fied on Christmas, he feels like it's his duty as the host to make me nippy-fied with him.
No.
And I ain't doing that. So, and he's like this big, and he wants to get intimidated. What do you mean you ain't gonna have a drink with me? Man, it's Christmas.
You don't know if you have a drink.
But dude, I don't celebrate the birth of my Savior by getting drunk, you dipstick. And so we just don't go over there. I can't avoid that because they call it, hi. You go over to the house? Yeah, be right there, man.
That's the last of that.
Somebody told me that mean, he's going to sit there all night, wait on you to come up and come on over there. Okay. Yeah. By the time it's time for me to get there, he won't know I was coming.
There you go.
Yeah, he don't know. So I'm not going over there. I have to put up with him. He's family.
Yeah.
He's family. So, but I'm not going over there. So eliminate stressful, unnecessary activities or chores. Things you don't have to do, don't do. Don't just do them. Don't talk on the phone so loud that you can't have group. I appreciate Mark heading down the hallway. That's good. Mm-hmm. Devote time to relaxation and rejuvenation. Right. Go take a break. Look, we all need to do that. Go fishing. We all need to do that. I don't do fishing a whole lot because if I go fishing, there's always the outside chance I might accidentally catch something. Yeah. And I don't want to catch something because I feel like, if you catch it, you got to clean it and cook it and eat it. And I don't do that. I like fish, but I like going to Hamilton's and saying, give me some fish, and they'll do it every time. So
you fish at the fish market.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I fish at the fish market. Yeah, because I don't do that. And poor little fish. Don't kill me. So go to a place where you can get some of those support. Devote time to relaxation, rejuvenation. What does rejuvenation mean?
5, 6.
I'm gonna rebuild myself. Yeah. I'm gonna just come back to life. I'm gonna do what I need to do. And we all need to do that. One of the biggest things that helps us not get cancer is 8 hours of sleep a night. Right. If you're not getting it, you need to start. We need to be sleeping. We need to be relaxing. We need to have that time. Now some people relax too much. If you're 24 years old and all you do every day is relax, you don't need to be eating anything. You need to not eat until you get to that place where you figure out you might need to go do something. Go plant a garden, go do something, to get you some groceries. Mm-hmm. So do something special for yourself. What do? You're going to do something special for yourself? Go get a nice haircut. Go have a massage. I have a friend of mine who's a massage therapist. I'm going to tell you, after she gets through with your massage, you have to drink like a quart of water because all of the impurities in your body come out. Right. It's just an amazing thing. And you got to go take a break. You drink a quart of water and have a little snack, and then you got to go sit down because you're weak and all of that stuff. So make an appointment with yourself to do something that you enjoy. Right. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go work out. I can't go to the gym now until after the 28th.
28th.
Yeah. 28th. Because I got to go back and see my doctor. So they're going to check all of this mess out.
That's what it went in at?
Yeah, that's kind of painful, but they do that after you go to sleep.
Okay.
And they don't knock you all the way out. They just kind of get
So you felt some of it?
No, I don't. They do something where you don't remember. I don't remember any of it. If I did, I don't. So do something special for yourself. Always seek support if you need it.
Right.
Always look. Here's the deal. How many of us know that in the midst of this mess, we're going to need some support?
Right.
We've had people leave here that went through this whole program, got up here and got rocked out and said, man, this is the bestest, most goodest thing I've ever been through in my entire life. Everybody look, I'm going to go and tell everybody how wonderful this is. I've been through 14 of these. Ain't nobody ever gave me anything like this before. This was great. This is wonderful. I love all of you. And then they're gone. And 4 days later, call back up and say, how you doing? You know? So here's the deal. When we need help, we need to look. When we leave from here, the need for help is not over. The need for help has just begun. You're going to get some help, whatever we can give you in here. But when you leave from here, don't leave from here thinking you got it. Because even once you leave from here, it got you. Just sitting down in group is something that just ain't like something you could just, do sometimes. So, anyway, we got to be looking for all those things. The holidays are what they are. They're the holidays. So let's do what we can to enjoy the holidays, not get stressed out, not get messed over. All right? Questions, comments, or snide remarks? Nothing. You got it, right?
I ain't got nothing.
You got it. Ain't got nothing to say.
I'm happy.
Yeah. See, you got something, or you just
1 Thessalonians 5:17.
great. 1 Thessalonians 5:17. You know what that said?
Pray without ceasing.
Say it again.
Pray without ceasing.
Pray without ceasing. That sounds like a real short Bible verse, doesn't it? And that's true. Pray without ceasing. And look, that doesn't mean we walk around mumbling to ourselves all day long. What that does mean that any issue, anything that comes into my life, I share it with my higher power. And my higher power being the Lord Jesus Christ. And look at that. So, anyway, thank you. That's it. Appreciate